Manchester United 2, Crystal Palace 1, and that is a statement victory for Ruben Amorim. Is it a statement performance? No. Is it a statement victory? Absolutely. And that gives us 3 vital points on the back of what was a horrendous performance last week. Coming into this week, a difficult game at Selhurst Park, and we've managed to pull it out of the bag. Ruben Amorim has got points on the board. Now, if you go back to the start of the game, the starting lineup comes out, and I'm looking at that team and I'm thinking, I struggle to see a way in which we get points here, especially a victory. I was looking in particular at Joshua Zirkzee and I was thinking he's going to get eaten up by them centre-halves. And granted, he's got the goal, but the vast majority of his performance today, again, I thought it was a struggle. Apart from that last half an hour or so where he started to come into the game after his goal, I thought he struggled again. And I thought that before the game. I thought we were going to be lacklustre in attack. We were going to struggle to break them down. And this is another one of them games. If we look at the stats, we again had the most possession in this game. 57% of Palace's 43%. These are the games in which we struggle to break teams down. Ollie said it, didn't he, on Stick to Football, and it's been a bit of a narrative in the background over these last couple of weeks, that when Manchester United have the ball, we struggle to break teams down. And that was the same today. As soon as Crystal Palace got that goal, I was thinking, this is going to be a nightmare. This is going to be a really tough game. And you look at it and you think the couple of chances that Palace had before they scored, and there was one after, wasn't there, when De Ligt slipped and someone ran through, Nketiah, wasn't it, ran through. And you're thinking, this is just going to be the game, isn't it? We're going to be sat on the edge of their box, doing that shoe horse, going around the corners, trying to break them down with a lack of success. And then Palace hitting us on the break and likely scoring another goal. But credit to Manchester United for coming out and proving me wrong, proving a lot of people wrong in terms of, can you go against the grain, away from home, and can you pull out a result, pull it out of the bag? And that feels like what this game was, doesn't it? Pulling it out of the bag. Because I look at it before and I think Palace away isn't a game in which I'm thinking we should go there and win. This is a game where I'm kind of expecting maybe a loss, maybe a draw. That's the current state with this Manchester United team. But we've got the result, and we've defied the odds in terms of coming back from a goal down. If we just run through the team, I think, especially in defence, Leny Yoro again struggled today. He gave away the penalty, and I think he looked similar to what he did in that Everton game, just a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit awkward on the ball, a couple of passes kind of behind the man. And I think that's an indicator with Leny Yoro. That is becoming kind of the red flag at the start of the game. If Leny Yoro's doing that, you're going to see him struggling towards the end of the game. And there was an image which came out after the game. He's kind of sat on the bench, head in hands, that type of thing. And Leny Yoro is a young centre-half. He's very, very young to be playing and starting week out, week in the Premier League. And for me, I think we just have to give him the time to grow into what he's going to be. He's still a very good centre-back as he is. He's had a couple of ropey weeks, but barring that, he's very, very good for Manchester United at his age, and we just need to let him grow into that. In terms of the other defenders, I thought Luke Shaw was half decent today. He was a little bit more crisp on the ball. He was a little bit more front-footed, wanting to get into the final third. And De Ligt, I thought it was just a standard De Ligt performance. There was a couple of covering blocks which he came across. Mateta is uptight, is physical. I think De Ligt almost thrives in that situation where he's got a striker who's going to be physical and get up against him. De Ligt enjoys that kind of scenario. The rest of the team, Bruno Fernandes, obviously match-winning performance, you could say, with 2 assists, again showing his quality in that final third. And you sat sometimes watching him picking the ball up deep and you're thinking, we want him to be further up the pitch. We want him to be in and around the area where he was. And the set pieces for Manchester United, we're second in the Premier League for set-piece goals, which it felt like we've gone 10 years without scoring from a set piece. But we looked, even before the goals, we looked very dangerous. There was a couple of times Casemiro from a long throw. There was one of the early Bruno Fernandes free kicks where he got his head on it and probably should have scored. So that's a positive for Manchester United. When we're not playing well, when we're struggling in these away games, can you get a set piece goal? Can you create something from that? Casemiro, I thought, was decent today. There was a couple of them kind of leggy tackles. You see the likes of Wharton or Kamada or whoever it was who came. It was Will Hughes, wasn't it? Came on in the second half, and you're thinking, Casemiro's going to get booked. He's just going to swipe someone. And he managed to evade a couple of tackles, a couple of bookings. But I thought he was decent. He was tidy on the ball in certain situations. There was a spell early on in the first half where him and Bruno Fernandes kept giving the ball away. It was like a 20-minute spell. But apart from that, tidy, clean on the ball. Diogo Dalot, very much a Dalot level performance, just not much in the way going forward, not brilliant going backwards, just a struggle at the minute on that side. Feels like a big issue for Manchester United. Amad Diallo and Mbeumo I thought had relatively quiet games. It's felt like this when Cunha's not playing. On that other side, there's not as much of a threat, so the whole team, the opposition team, can shift across and kind of double up on Mbeumo and double up on Diallo, and I think that's what we're seeing. He struggled to get into the game, and Mbeumo looked a little bit frustrated, and it's just part and parcel of it. We need to have options throughout the pitch where we can open the play out. We saw it a couple of times early on in the season where Cunha's on that other side, and Mbeumo might have the ball, but as soon as it gets out to Cunha, it just opens the play. And I think the idea of having Xerxes and Mount, for me, was a little bit of a worry. Because of that, you don't have that option on the other side. And them two have come back to bite me in the arse because Mason Mount and Joshua Xerxes scored the goals. I thought Mason Mount was pretty poor in the first half. I thought Xerxes was pretty poor in that first half. But ultimately, they've both come on and shown their quality. And that is what we need from these players that are coming in. You need them to be able to come in and impact games. You can't just coast through games like this and then come out at the back end, you've lost, you've drawn, and say, well, we didn't have Cunha, we didn't have Sesko. That's not good enough for Manchester United. These players should be good enough to come in and to make an impact on this team. And I think, it wasn't a stellar performance in any means. It wasn't quality, like there wasn't much depth to the quality, there wasn't much link play that I saw, but it was dogged. It was a performance you want away from home. And this Manchester United team will be a better team if we can go to the likes of Palace and not play well and still pick up the points. That is a big, big factor in this Manchester United team just becoming better all round. And like I say, that pushes us up now to, let's have a look at the league table. So we're now 7th. Who's gone ahead of us then? Brighton. So Brighton are currently playing now, who have just gone ahead of us. But we're 7th and we're in around that area. I mean, we are 3 points off 3rd place. We are 4 points off Manchester City. Like, that is... It's a good position to be in at this time of year. We've played 13 games. That's quite a lot of games. And you've got to think going into this new year when the Champions League's kicking in, Europa League, I think that was an impact today on Crystal Palace. Them playing midweek, they tired in that second half. This is where Manchester United need to cement and make a big impact and put on a bit of a consistent run. The games we've got coming up next, we've got West Ham at home. That feels like, please, Manchester United, just do us justice in that game. Go out and win against West Ham. Put on a bit of a show. Put on a few goals past them because we need that. We need to cement these victories. And then you've got Wolves, then you've got Bournemouth, then you've got Villa. That, for me, is a run where we should be putting together a run of 10 out of 12. 10 out of 12 points, 9 out of 12 points. Not dropping many points. And then you go into that Newcastle game, which is a big game on Boxing Day. Newcastle are very up and down at the minute. But can we catch them? Can we catch them in the Christmas break when their squad's running a bit thin, running a bit tired? And then you're in a really good position going into the new year. Can you go and sign someone in January that impacts the rest of your season? I think it's a very positive day for Manchester United. Again, like I say, defying what a lot of us have thought. And that's all we want from this Manchester United team. We don't want to be sat there at the end of every game saying, oh, well, I kind of expected that from this United team. Today, they've shown us something that I did not expect. The ability to go to a ground that is very difficult and pick up 3 points. So that is a massive, massive bonus for us, for Ruben Amorim and for Manchester United. That is it. That's it for today. If you like football, if you like Manchester United, if you like people rambling on, please subscribe to the channel. It's a brand new channel. I'm going to be chucking out more content. I'm going to be doing a couple of videos a week, probably one through the week in terms of looking at the tactical bits. Might do a bit on transfers, and then I'm going to do the game reactions like this straight after the game if I can. hit like, hit subscribe, get in the comments, let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.